This is day 8, and we're still working on circles. We're starting our review process, so we're going back to looking at the relationships of the segments inside of a circle. Remember all those formulas that you will not be given? These were the original 4 that we learned, but those were all about arcs and angles. During this part of the unit, we learned 2 more formulas that had to do with the segment lengths inside a circle. And so these were the 2 new situations that we had to be aware of. In a situation like this, where we have the segments completely inside the circle, it's part times part equals part times part. So A times B would equal X times Y. When the segments are outside of the circle as a secant segment, then the relationship is part times whole equals part times whole. Now, I'm just going to add one thing. It has to be the outer part. I tried to keep this as simple as I could when I wrote these formulas. So I said part times whole equals part times whole, but the part has to always be the outer part. All right, it has to be the outer part times the whole is equal to the outer part times the whole. That's why it's A times A plus B equals X times X plus Y. That was a very nasty looking total. Okay, part whole, X times X plus Y. Anyway, know which formula you're using, if you're inside or if you're going outside of the circle. So, looking at number 1, you see that clearly we are inside the circle, are we not? So, that means we're going to be using the part times part equals part times part version of this formula. So, it'll be like this. We'll be doing 12 times 2x plus 5 equals 14 times 2x plus 2. All right? So 14 times 2x plus 2 and 12 times 2x plus 5. All right? Part times part equals part times part. So, fine. I feel a little distributive property coming on. So this is going to be 24x plus 60 is equal to 28x plus 28. So I need to solve this. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 24x from both sides. So that's going to give me 60 is equal to 4x plus 28. I would then like to subtract 28 from both sides. So that's going to give me 4x equals 32. And then we just divide both sides by 4. Alright, so that gives us x equals 8. Whoa, slow down! This is not the final answer. Oh my goodness. I almost fell for that mess. Luckily I wrote it next to the directions. See how the directions say find UW. And guys that are actually in my actual class, please understand that there are problems like this on the test. So you really have to pay attention to what you're being asked for. It doesn't say find x, it says find the length of UW. So we have to take this and plug it back in. So if I take this 8 and I put it in right here, I feel like I have to zoom in now. Then this is going to become 2 times 8 plus 5. Okay, I don't need that extra parentheses. So that is 16 plus 5, which is 21. All right? So that means this CW here is 21. And you see it's already marked that this part here is 12. So the whole thing from U to W is 21 plus 12, so that's 33. So that's why UW is actually equal to 33. Whew, that was close. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do number 10. But from now on, we won't be fooled. We see that it says find Km, so we're going to find X, but then we'll plug it back in. All right, look at the formula. See how this one goes outside the circle. So we'll be doing outer part times whole equals outer part times whole. So, ergo, what we shall have here. Okay. Here's the outer part, and here is the whole. Okay, it's bothering me. So this is going to be 3. Okay, part times whole. So it's going to be 3. Now the whole thing is 2x plus 5 plus 3. Man, I'm afraid that this is going to be confusing for some kids. Let me make it a different color at least. All right, we're trying to do part times whole. And the two pieces are, we've got this 2x plus 5 happening, and then we've got this 3 happening. So together, it's 2x plus 5 plus 3. So that's what I wrote right here. Now, for this part, it's much easier. Part times whole. So it's the outer part times the whole. The whole thing is 4 plus 2, so I'm just going to go ahead and put 6. So it's just a matter of solving this. Now, I highly recommend that you always combine like terms when they are together like this inside the parentheses. So I wouldn't distribute too early. So I'm going to have 3 times 2x plus 8 is equal to 24. Now, I could distribute now, or I could divide both sides by 3 right now. I think most of you would distribute, so that's what I'm going to do. So this would make 6x plus 24 equals 24. So I would subtract 24 from both sides. So that gives me that 6x equals 0. Huh, weird. So if I divide by 6, that's going to give me x equals 0. Is that possible? All right. Well, maybe, because that's not my final answer. Just like in the last problem, I'm going to take this value, x equals 0, and I'm going to plug it in right there. All right, let me blow this up once again. So if I put in this 0, this becomes 2 times 0 plus 5. Well, 2 times 0 is just 0, so it's just 0 plus 5, which is 5. There's nothing wrong with this length, this red distance here being 5. That's okay. So here I've got 3, and here I've got 5. So Km is the total of both of these. So Km is the 3 plus the 5, so that's 8. Alrighty then, what's next on tap? Number 11, find Nm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is another outside the circle. So I need to do part times whole equals part times whole. Now let's get this out of the way. This is the part, the outer part, and this is the whole. It's the part and the whole. So when we do part times whole, it's going to wind up being x plus 3 times x plus 3, which of course I will immediately write as x plus 3 squared. No, I won't. I'm going to leave it just like that. Never mind. Anyway, the main thing is to understand the part and the whole are both x plus 3's, and you do have to do it twice. So x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now, on the other side, as we do the part and whole, so this is the part, it's x minus 3. Now the whole, oh, I went too far. Let me leave space just in case. The whole thing is x minus 3 plus 16. Okay, because it kind of splits right there. So I've got my outer part, and then the whole is this plus this. So that's the setup. So to do this, we're going to have to do the distributive property twice. So if I take this x and I distribute it, then I'm going to get x squared, and then x times 3 is 3x. Now if I distribute the 3, that's going to give me 3x plus 9. Okay, meanwhile over here I've got these like terms, the negative 3 and the 16. So look, I've got x minus 3 and I've got x plus 13. Over here I've got these like terms, so let's put those together. So that'll be x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals. Now over here I'm going to have to do that double distributive thing again. So this is going to be like this. X times x, x times 13. So that's going to give me x squared plus 13x. And then I'm going to have to distribute this negative 3. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 13 is negative 39. Alright, these are like terms, so I do need to put those together. So this is going to make x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals x squared plus 10x minus 39. Yeah. So look, it's time to get things on one side, but as soon as I subtract x squared from both sides, look what happens. Both x squares cancel each other out. I kind of love it when that happens because that means I don't have to do the quadratic formula. Equals 10x minus 39. Time to subtract 6x. So that'll be 9 equals 4x minus 39. Add 39 to both sides. And that's going to be 48. Divide both sides by 2. Man. I mean 4. Did I say 2? I suddenly got really tired in the middle of this video. It was kind of a late night last night. So I'm dividing by 4, so that's going to be 12. Alright, so x equals 12, but you can bet that that is not what we were asked to find. We are supposed to find nm. So that's this down here, but if x is 12, then that makes this 12 plus 3, which of course is 15. So that's why nm is 15. You got to plug it back in. So please make sure you do this when you take the test. Alright, let's move on to number 12. Find NL. We're going to start by finding x, of course. Again with the part times whole equals part times whole thing. Alright, so here we go. Looking at this red secant, the part times whole goes like this. Part And the whole is x minus 8 plus 4. All right, that's this piece plus that piece. And that should equal part times whole. Let me put that in a different color. All right, look at this blue secant segment. Part times whole. So the part is the 3, got to be the outer part. But the whole is going to be x minus 5 plus 3. All right, that's this part, the x minus 5 part, plus 3, that part. So it's just a matter of simplifying all this mess. So if I were you, I would combine these like terms first. So this would be x minus 4, because negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4, equals 3. Now putting these together, that's going to be x minus 2. Distributive property gives you 4x minus 16 equals 3x minus 6. Subtract 3x from both sides. That's going to give you x minus 16 is equal to negative 6. Add 16 to both sides. That's going to give me x equals 10. Okay? Now, remember, that is not the final answer. That's something that we need, but we need to find NL. So let's check that out. NL. NL is this red distance. So I'm going to take that 10 and put it in right here. Okay? So this is 10 minus 8, so that means this is 2. Okay? So that means this is 2, and this is 4. So that means NL is 6. So there you go. NL is 6. Alright, let's look at number 13. Find CE. Okay, it's another part times whole equals part times whole situation. Alright, here's look at this red secant segment that goes like this. Okay, here we go. Part times whole. So I'm going to do 8 times 10 plus 8. You know, of course, I could just put 18. Alright, but that's part and that's the whole. Now, for this part, I'm going to do 9 times 2x minus 17 plus 9. Okay, I should have made that a different color. But this is what I just did. That was my part. And then the whole was this plus that. 2x minus 17 plus 9. So it's just a matter of simplifying this mess. So this will be 8 times 18. This will be 9. Hey, combine these like terms, guys. Negative 17 plus 9. So I'll have 2x minus 8. Alright, 8 times 18 is 144. So I have 144 equals. Now I shall distribute. Kabam. What? So that's going to be 18x minus 72. Let's add 72 to both sides like this. So that'll give me 18x equals 216. Time to divide by 18. 12. X is 12. What do you know? Now, that is not the final answer, please, sir. Because we're supposed to find CE. So let's look back and know what CE is. Well, CE is this whole blue situation. This is CE. So I'm going to take my X and I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to substitute. So this becomes 2 times 12 minus 17. That is 7. So that tells me that this distance right here is 7. So I've got 7 and I've got 9. 7 plus 9 is 16. So that is CE is 16. So that's number 13. Let's see. What about number 14? Find CA. All right, first we have to find X. This is going to be part times part equals part times part. Let's start with this red piece. So I should leave space for the answer. Part times part. So 14 times 3 plus 3x. Hope it doesn't bother you if I put 3x plus 3, because that's backwards to me. I don't like it. So part, splitting it kind of here, part times part. And that should equal part times part. All right, so I'm going to go this way now, splitting it here. So that'll be 12 times 4x plus 1. Part times part equals part times part. All right, little distributary. 14 times 3 is 42. All right, so it's 42x plus 42. 12 times 4 is 48. All right, so 48x plus 12. Time to subtract 42x from both sides. So that's going to be 42 equals 6x plus 12. Minus 12, yeah. All right, so that's going to be 30. So x is equal to 5. All right, fine, but that is not the final answer, because we're supposed to find the length of segment CA. So I'm going to take this 5 and I'll plug it in. So if I do that, this is going to become 3 plus 3 times 5. So that's going to be 3 plus 15, which is 18. All right, fine. So this is 18. So this is 18, and this is 14. So together, they will give me CA. All right, so that's 32. So that's why CA is equal to 32. All right, looks like we're getting down to the last couple problems, you guys. 2 more problems. Number 15. Notice how this is outside the circle once again. So because it is outside the circle, we will do our part times whole equals part times whole. Now remember that this is the part and the whole. So when I do my x plus 8, I'm going to have to do x plus 8 times x plus 8. It's the part and the whole. Why is that so wide? Now, when I do the other part, which I will do in red, the part is 12, but the whole is 27. Okay, part and then whole. So I just have to solve this, but that won't be my answer. I will have to substitute it back in, and that will help me find HG. So let's go ahead and do this. You know what? I should move this over right now, because I need to leave space for the answer. Let me just slide that over. Okay, that's better. So, you know, a little distributive property, never hurt anybody, and we're going to have to do it twice. So doing the x like that, x times x is x squared. Okay, x times 8 is 8x. Now I'm going to do the distributive property again. Down here, 8 times x is 8x. 8 times 8 is 64. 12 times 27 is 324. Huh, I feel a quadratic formula coming on. Don't you? Do you sense it? Do you feel it? That's going to be x squared. These are like tisms, so I'm going to have x squared plus 16x plus 64 is equal to 324. Let's go ahead and get 0. I see I've got x squared and I've got x. There's not any way to just get x by itself. So we're going to have to rely on the quadratic formula. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 324 from both sides. And that's going to give me negative 260. So I've got x squared plus 16x minus 260 is equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to use the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula says that the solutions will be of this form. All I need to do is find what's A, what's B, and what's C. Well, luckily for me, A, B, and C are simple. They are the coefficients of this polynomial. So this coefficient is an invisible 1, but everything else is clear. So A is 1, B is 16 because of that, and C is negative 260 because of that. Please make sure you include the negative sign with your C or everything will be wrong. So I'm about to do this whole formula. Opposite of B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Opposite of B. That means if B is positive, then I will go negative. So here I go. The solution should be of this form. Opposite of B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Now, see the A being 1? We didn't really have to put that because we're multiplying by 1. I'm just trying to show every piece with the A, the B, and the C. But you can feel free not to put the 1. Okay, so we can just put this in our TI-30XS multi-view. And it would look like this. Please start off in fraction mode right from the start. So we had negative 16. Now the formula says plus or minus, but we can only do one at a time, so let's start with plus. Square root of B squared, so this was 16 squared. Look, please notice, if this had been a negative 16, I would have needed to put the negative 16 in parentheses. So B squared minus 4AC. And again, please make sure you do a negative 260, not just 260, all over 2A. Kabam! 10. One of our solutions is 10 for x. Okay, fine. X equals 10, or we did this plus. We still need to do minus. Now, we do not need to type the whole thing in over again. We can just go up, highlight it, edit it, and just make our way over to the plus sign. And make it a minus sign instead, and just hit enter. Negative 26. Now, sometimes we get solutions that are extraneous, meaning they would not make sense in this particular problem. And we have to throw them out. For example, the negative 26. If I put the negative 26 in right here, well, that's going to give me a negative number, okay, like negative 18. You cannot have a negative length. So negative 26 will not make sense in this problem. It is extraneous. Throw it out. So x equals 10 is the only solution for x. Now, again, that is not the final answer. We're trying to find hg. So that's this down here. So we will take our 10 and we will plug it in. So if this is 10 right here, then of course hg is going to be 10 plus 8, which is 18. So hg is 18. Go team. Okay, last one, number 16. Find ws. Okay, that's up there. All right, this is all inside the circle, so we will do part times part equals part times part. All right, let's start with the red. Part times part looks like this, 6x times 12x, that's part times part, equals. Now, this is another part times part. Doesn't matter what goes first, but it's part times part, it's just 8 times 9. All right, so 6 times 12 is 72. So this is going to be 72. Now look, x times x is x squared, so be careful. So 72x squared is equal to, oh look, would you look at that, 72. So you know what, let's go ahead and take the, no, we're not taking the square root. What was I thinking? Let's divide both sides by 72. That way these 72s will simply cancel each other out. Wait a minute, what do I get? So that's going to give me x squared is equal to 1. Well, that's nice. It's time to take the square root of both sides, yeah? And normally we would do plus or minus 1 right now. But you cannot have a negative length, and if we had a negative 1, this would be negative 12. That's no good. So we will not even bother writing down the negative version of this. So x equals 1 is the only possible solution under the circumstances. But that is not the answer to the whole question. One more time, we're supposed to find the length of ws. ws is this red. So let me erase everything else. So I'm going to substitute this 1 back in. So if I do that, if I put 1 in everywhere, then you know this is 6 times 1, which is just 6. This is 12 times 1, which is just 12. So the entire, whoops, it's more, I don't need the whole thing. I'm sorry. They only asked for ws. That's just 6. We already found it. So ws is equal to 6. I was going on as though I were being asked for, I don't even know what this is down here, but anyway, I've gone too far this time. You've just gone too far. 6 is ws, so we're done. Look, guys, just make sure you know the formulas, please, 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 please. If you walk into any test or quiz not knowing these formulas, you're going to be in big, big trouble. So if it's inside the circle, we're doing part times part equals part times part. If the segments are going outside the circle, it's part times whole equals part times whole. All right, you know, guys, I'm hoping that this video was helpful to you in some way. If it was helpful at all, show me that it was helpful by giving me that like, give me that quick thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video.